done, ma'am.
I'm also done, ma'am.
Okay, both of you done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now in this aggregate, in this chapter, determination of income and employment, we will do the three chapters. Okay, first one is aggregate demand and aggregate supply and related concept. Second one will be the income determination and multiplier, and third one will be excess demand and deficit and how to correct it. Okay, so first let's just start with this aggregate demand and aggregate demand is also known as aggregate expenditure. Why? Because when you are demanding something, like for example, you are demanding that I want chocolates, right? So that means you are ready to spend 10 rupees to purchase that chocolate, right? So that's why aggregate demand is sometimes known as aggregate expenditure. Okay. So first of all, aggregate demand refers to the total demand for final goods and services in an economy during an accounting year. It is the aggregate or total expenditure on final goods and services in the economy, like whatever money you will spend, that is the aggregate of that. For example, you bought 10 chocolates, so 10 into 10, you means you are ready to spend 100 rupees, right? If people tend to spend more than what they were spending on goods and services earlier, it means rise in aggregate demand. So earlier, for example, you purchased 100 rupees chocolate, but now this year you purchase chocolate for 200 rupees. So that means your aggregate demand increases. AD is aggregate demand is related with the income level. For example, if your income is 100, will you purchase 200 rupees chocolate? Definitely not. So it basically depends on what is your level. If your level of income is high, you will demand more. If your level of income is low, then you will demand less. Okay. Then in terms of Keynes, there's a economist. Aggregate demand refers to the total amount of money which the buyers are ready to spend on purchase of goods and services produced in an economy during a given period. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, as you know, our exams are starting from the next week, so we might not be able to attend classes then. So for this chapter, can we just take screenshot of the notes and write only the important points so we could be able to
Okay,
complete
okay,
it?
yes. You can do it like this only, right?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So from next week, when you have your exams, 18th,
Ma'am, 17.
17th. Okay, okay. No issues, no issues. See, today we have a class, tomorrow also. But the issue is that you have your business studies class as well. Na? I know accountancy on the alternate
Okay.
days.
Yes, ma'am.
Others I would have taken. So what we can do, because this chapter is not that much difficulty, only for the numerical we will practice and others we can do it like this. Okay. You can, instead of
Okay,
just
ma'am.
taking the screenshot, just give it a reading. Okay. So that if you have
Okay,
any
ma'am.
confusion, you can ask it right there. Okay. So just one minute break I'll give so that you can just read it. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Okay. Now coming to the next one, the relationship between the aggregate demand with income level. Right. So there is a positive relationship between aggregate demand and income level. That is, aggregate demand increases with the rise of income. As I told you, if income increases, of course, you will demand more. And it goes like this. Right. So this is what, when your income was, for example, this is your income. Right. Now your income increased. So automatically your demand will also increase. Right. But if your income fell down, coming to here, then your demand will also fell down. So this is basically the relationship of aggregate demand with the income level. And the curve shows positive relationship between income and AD as AS income rises from OY, this is OY to OY dash, Y1, right? The in demand also rises from OQ to OQ1, right? And vice versa, like as demand, as income decreases from OY to OY2, right? Here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So it is automatically coming down. Now, components of aggregate demand. Okay. First one is private consumption expenditure. So over here, the total expenditure incurred by all the household of a country on their personal consumption is known as private consumption expenditure. There is a positive relationship between income and the consumption, right? If your income will increase, then you will consume more, right? Then second one is investment expenditure or private expenditure, right? So private investment demand refers to the demand for the capital goods by private sector investor, right? It is the addition to the existing stock of real capital assets such as machines. So for example, you have two machines. Now you added on the another machine, right? So this is basically whatever you have, you are adding it more, right? Investment demand depends upon the marginal efficiency of the capital, right? And the interest rate. For example, if you are getting a good interest, right, you will invest more. If you are not getting good interest, then you will invest less. Then investment is also of two types. One is autonomous investment, and one is induced. But in Keynes theory, investment is assumed as the autonomous, right? We will understand what is invest when we will do investment. And there is a negative relationship between the rate of interest, right, and investment demand. And investment demand, right? If a rate of interest is high, right, you have to in what is how you will like the loan interest rate is high, right? At that time, what you will do? You will invest less. But if the interest rate at low interest rate you are getting somewhere, you will demand high. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now this one. So now what is the relationship between aggregate demand? This. So relationship between aggregate demand with price level. So there is a negative relationship between aggregate demand with the increase of general price level and vice versa. The curve is negative relationship. As the price increases, demand comes down. So if price increases, demand will fall. You generally know, right? If the chocolate which was for 100 rupees, now it is for 200 rupees. Will you purchase? No, ma'am. But if the chocolate is for 100 rupees, now it is for 50 rupees. So you will demand more, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, third one is government expenditure. So it is a total expenditure incurred by government on purchase of goods and services in the domestic market by government. Then compensation of employees, national income we have already done, right? Paid by the government. And direct purchase from abroad by the government for embassies and consultants located abroad. So in a modern economy, the government is an important buyer of goods and services. It is income elastic it is not affected by the change in level income. So overhead, no matter what, whether your income is 1 lakh rupees or 2 lakh rupees, whatever government is giving you, right? Government will do irrespective of your income, right? And in case of inflation, when the prices are high, inflation means prices are high. So government spend less to control excess demand, right? And in deflation, government spends more to control the deficit demand. Clear? If prices are high, so at that time, nobody will demand, there will be demand less, right? So over here in the situation of inflation, right? So inflation means you remember when we were doing that thing, like when you demand a lot, what comes? Inflation comes,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
So at that time, government will spend less because already there is a problem of excess demand, right? So that automatically this can come down. Now, when is deflation? That means deficit demand is there. So government will spend more money so that more and more people can demand, right? Now, net
Yes.
export. So net export is example this export minus import, export minus import. So it is a difference between value of export and value of import. Export refers to expenditure by foreigners on purchase of Indian product. Import refers to expenditure by resident on purchase of foreign product, right? Now, magnitude of net import is affected by foreign exchange rate, right? Whatever export you are doing and whatever import you are doing, that will be affected by foreign exchange rate, right? By inflation, by deflation, right? All these things. Clear? So your aggregate demand is finished over here. Aggregate demand is C plus I plus G plus this. Consumption by private, right? Investment, government, and your net exports. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we will quickly just give the reading within 5 minutes from here, and then we will move to the next.
One can scroll on.
Ma'am, could you start?
Can you scroll down?
Yes, ma'am, I can start. Ma'am, both of us are done. Please call.
Can you scroll down? Done, ma'am. Ma'am, could you show the negative relationship for that?
Sorry.
Ma'am, could you scroll up and show the negative relationship?
Okay, okay. There's a negative relationship between rate of interest and investment demand. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Ma'am, can you scroll down? Done, ma'am. Can you scroll down, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Done, ma'am. Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Okay. Now let's just move to the next one, which is basically the aggregate demand. Okay. Before that, I just need to tell you a few things. Okay. Now this one, usually we have discussed about the four components, but when we study, we only do the two sector model, right? So over here in a two sector model, it is assumed that aggregate demand is a function of consumption and investment also, right? So over here, when two sector model comes, over here consumption plus investment. These are the two things which you have to remember, right? So it becomes C plus I, where C is the consumption expenditure and I is the expenditure. Okay. Now, how you draw the table basically? This one you will draw because you cannot take the just a screenshot for this, right? So this is basically this national income, right? This is your consumption, this is your autonomous investment, and this is your AD. Okay. So national income is when it was 0. Of course, you will consume something. Yes.
Yes,
20.
ma'am.
And this is the investment. So it became 40. Then when your income increases, you will increase your consumption 25, but your investment will always remain same because it is autonomous. No matter what, autonomous investment is basically it doesn't get affected by the income, doesn't get affected, right? That's why it is autonomous. Like whatever I want, I will be doing 20. Now it became 30, right? So it became 30, right? Over here, what you are going to do, you are going to add this 40, this become 45, this became 50, like this. Clear? This is how you will draw it till 50. Okay. Okay. So first, I think you can draw it on your own, right? The entire table. So quickly draw
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
Just leave one or two, 3 pages before so that you can just draw the graph.
Ma'am, till how much should we make the table?
50.
Okay, ma'am.
And also, girl, what I will do, I will just share the PDF with you people, right? So that you people can make notes and in the class itself, you can just revise the things. Okay. And
Okay,
whatever
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
numericals we have to do in the class.
Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Okay. Now this is how your graph will look like. Okay. So you can see this. This one will be your investment. Clear? This is your graph. This is your investment. So it is 20, 20, 20, 20. So it will be remain same. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then when you will draw your this consumption and your income. Right? You can say your consumption starts from 20. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So it will start from here. Like this. This is how your consumption. So this is CI graph. So you don't need to write this. So this is how. And this is your consumption, which will start from here. Right? When you will add this, this will be your consumption where you're going to add both the things. Clear? This is your AD. Right? And this is your C and this is your I. Okay? They
Okay,
both will
ma'am.
start from the same point because it is also 20 and it is also 20, the first point. Right? But you can say your aggregate demand is 40. That's why it is starting from this point. Right? 40.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? So you can make it like this 10, 20, 30, 40, like this, 40, 50, like this.
Ma'am, can this consumption be, can it start from 0?
No, it cannot be start from because you will consume something, right? Like no matter whether you
Yes.
have money or not, you will consume something, right? It's like, for example, you are not earning. At that time, you will not eat something. You will eat, right? No matter whether you will borrow it
Yes.
from somewhere, but you will consume something, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is what. And investment is basically, for example, you have some fixed deposits, right? Or maybe recurring deposit, RD and all that. For every month you have to save you have to deposit 200 rupees. No matter what, you have to give 200 rupees every month. So investment is autonomous. It doesn't get affected by your income. Even if your income is increasing, that will be same. But consumption cannot be zero at any level of income. Why? Because consumption is something which you will consume no matter what. Right? No matter whether you will borrow it from someone else or something, but you will consume something, right? So that's why it is start because investment
Yes,
was
ma'am.
20. That's why the consumption is not starting from 0. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, the y-axis is aggregate demand. Ma'am, what's the x-axis?
C and I, consumption and investment.
Okay, ma'am.